Fearless Living, Conquering Your Inner Fears. Written and published by MSC Boost. Chapter 1. Introduction to Fearless Living. Embarking on a path toward fearless living is about understanding the nature of fear itself, its origins, its purpose, and how it influences our lives in profound ways. Fear, a fundamental human emotion, is both a protector and a barrier. It guards us against real dangers, but it also stands in the way of our deepest desires and our pursuit of happiness. This chapter lays the foundation for transforming our relationship with fear, from one of avoidance and control to one of acceptance and engagement. At its core, fear is a survival mechanism. It triggers the fight or flight response, preparing our bodies to react to danger. But what happens when fear extends beyond immediate threats to our safety? In modern life, many of our fears are not about physical survival, but rather about psychological and emotional challenges. Fear of failure, rejection, and the unknown often dictate the choices we make, leading us down paths that are safer but less fulfilling. Understanding fear requires us to look inward. It compels us to ask difficult questions about what we truly value and what we're willing to risk for the sake of those values. This process is not about eliminating fear that's neither possible nor desirable. Instead, it's about learning to recognize when fear is serving a useful purpose and when it's holding us back from living fully. The first step in this process is to become aware of our fears. This awareness isn't about judgment or self-criticism. It's about observation and understanding. By recognizing the situations that trigger fear, we can begin to see patterns in our reactions and behaviors. This recognition is powerful. It gives us the insight we need to challenge our automatic responses and to choose differently. But awareness alone is not enough. We must also cultivate courage, the willingness to act in the presence of fear. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. Rather, it means acknowledging fear and moving forward regardless. This requires practice and perseverance. Each time we face a fear, we learn more about our capabilities and our limits. We also learn that our fears are often worse in anticipation than in reality. Building a toolkit for managing fear is another crucial step. This toolkit can include techniques for calming the mind and body, such as deep breathing, meditation, and exercise, as well as cognitive strategies for reframing fear-inducing thoughts. These tools don't remove the fear, but they help us approach it with a steadier hand and a clearer mind. Support systems play a significant role in fearless living. Friends, family, mentors, and communities can offer encouragement, perspective, and advice. They can remind us of our strengths when we forget and help us up when we stumble. Building and nurturing these relationships is an investment in our resilience. Fearless living is about action. It's about making choices that align with our values, even when those choices are difficult or scary. This doesn't mean recklessly disregarding all fears, but rather thoughtfully considering which fears are worth facing for the sake of a richer, more meaningful life. As we move through this book, we'll explore each of these areas in detail. We'll look at the different types of fears that commonly hold us back, the psychological underpinnings of fear, and strategies for overcoming it. We'll discuss how to build resilience, how to embrace vulnerability, and how to take courageous actions. And we'll consider how fearless living affects not just our individual lives, but also our relationships and communities. Fearless living is not a destination, but a way of being in the world. It's about continuously confronting and embracing the unknown, about making choices that reflect our true selves, and about living in a way that brings us closer to our aspirations. This book is your guide on that path. It offers practical advice, grounded in the latest research, and enriched by stories of those who have walked this path before you. It is a call to action, an invitation to live boldly and authentically in the face of fear. As we embark on this exploration, remember that the goal is not to become fearless in the sense of feeling no fear, but rather to learn to live with fear in a way that doesn't limit us. This is what it means to live fearlessly: to recognize, respect, and respond to our fears, and to not let them define or confine us. Welcome to the beginning of your path toward fearless living. Let's take this step together. with openness, curiosity, and courage toward a life that is fully lived. Chapter 2. Mapping Your Fears. The path to overcoming your inner fears begins with a clear understanding of what those fears are. Mapping your fears is a practical exercise that allows you to identify, categorize, and understand the fears that influence your life. This process is essential for several reasons. It helps to demystify fears, making them more manageable. It provides insights into your emotional triggers and responses, and it sets the stage for targeted strategies to confront and overcome these fears. To start mapping your fears, consider creating a fear map. This is a visual or written record that captures all your fears, big and small. Begin by listing every fear that comes to mind, without judgment or censorship. These might range from fear of failure, rejection, and loss, to fears related to specific situations like public speaking, heights, or social gatherings. Once you have your list, the next step is to categorize your fears. One effective method is to sort them into two broad categories: rational fears and irrational fears. Rational fears are those based on real and immediate threats, serving a protective purpose. Irrational fears, on the other hand, often stem from internalized beliefs or past experiences and may not have a direct correlation to immediate danger. This distinction helps in understanding the nature of your fears and how they affect your life. Further, you can analyze the impact of each fear. Ask yourself, how does this fear affect my decisions, relationships, and overall quality of life? Are there patterns in how these fears manifest? This analysis can reveal the depth of each fear's influence and guide you towards which fears need more attention. Understanding the origins of your fears is another crucial step in the mapping process. Many fears are rooted in past experiences, trauma, or learned behaviors. By tracing the source of your fears, you gain valuable insights into why certain situations trigger fear responses. This understanding is pivotal in addressing the root cause of the fear rather than just its symptoms. Equipped with this map, the next step involves setting priorities. Not all fears can or should be tackled at once. Choose which fears are most limiting your life and start there. This prioritization is essential for focusing your efforts and making the process of overcoming fears manageable. Strategies for confronting your fears can vary widely, but they all start with small, deliberate steps. For example, if public speaking is a significant fear, you might begin by speaking in front of a mirror, then to a small group of friends, gradually working your way up to larger groups. This gradual exposure helps to build confidence and reduce the intensity of the fear response over time. Reflection and adjustment are also integral parts of mapping your fears. As you work on confronting and overcoming your fears, your fear map will evolve. You may find that some fears lose their grip on you, while others may require more time and effort. Regularly revisiting and updating your fear map can keep you aligned with your progress and goals. Creating a support system is another valuable step. Sharing your fear map with trusted friends, family, or a therapist can provide you with external perspectives, encouragement, and accountability. Sometimes, simply vocalizing your fears can diminish their power and make them seem more manageable. Remember that mapping your fears is not a one-time task, but a continuous process. As you grow and change, so too will your fears. Regularly updating your fear map will not only reflect your progress, but also help you to remain vigilant against new fears that may arise. This ongoing process is crucial for maintaining the momentum in your quest for fearless living. Mapping your fears is more than an exercise. It's a transformative process that lays the groundwork for a life of courage and authenticity. By identifying, categorizing, and understanding your fears, you equip yourself with the knowledge and insight needed to face them head-on. With each fear you overcome, you'll find yourself moving closer to the life you aspire to live, one marked by freedom, strength, and resilience. Welcome to the second step of your path toward fearless living. With your fear map in hand, you're better prepared to navigate the challenges ahead, armed with clarity and purpose. Chapter 3. The Psychology of Fear. Understanding the psychology of fear is crucial for anyone seeking to conquer their inner fears and embrace a life of greater courage and freedom. Fear is not just a momentary feeling. It's a complex psychological response that affects our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This chapter delves into the mechanisms of fear, how it develops, its evolutionary purpose, and the ways it can both protect and limit us. At its core, fear is a primal human emotion, hardwired into our brains as a survival mechanism. It originates in a part of the brain known as the amygdala, which is responsible for processing emotions. When we perceive a threat, the amygdala activates the fight or flight response, preparing the body to either confront the danger or escape from it. This response is accompanied by physical changes, such as increased heart rate, rapid breathing, and heightened senses, all aimed at maximizing our chances of survival. This system worked well for our ancestors, who faced immediate physical dangers such as predators. However, in the modern world, the nature of the threats we face has changed. We are less likely to encounter physical dangers and more likely to face psychological and social challenges. Yet, our brains react to these modern threats with the same fight or flight response intended for physical dangers. This can lead to chronic stress and anxiety when the fight or flight response is constantly triggered by non-life-threatening situations. Fear is also learned. While we are born with a few innate fears, such as the fear of loud noises or falling, most of our fears are acquired through experiences. This learning can occur through direct experiences, such as a traumatic event, or indirectly, through observing others or being taught to fear certain things. For example, a child who sees a parent react fearfully to spiders may learn to fear spiders themselves. The way we think about and interpret events also plays a significant role in fear. Cognitive theories of fear suggest that our thoughts and beliefs about a situation can heighten or lessen our fear response. For instance, if you believe that public speaking will result in humiliation, you are more likely to feel intense fear about it. Conversely, if you view public speaking as an opportunity to share your knowledge, you may feel less fear. Social and cultural factors also influence fear. Different cultures have varying attitudes towards fear, and what is feared in one culture may not be feared in another. Additionally, societal expectations can dictate which fears are considered acceptable or taboo, shaping how individuals experience and express their fears. Despite its challenges, fear is not inherently negative. It serves an important purpose by signaling potential dangers and preparing us to deal with them. The key is to manage fear in a way that it does not become paralyzing or overwhelming. Understanding the psychology of fear allows us to develop strategies to face and overcome our fears effectively. One such strategy is exposure therapy, a technique based on the principle of habituation. By gradually and repeatedly exposing oneself to the source of fear in a controlled environment, the fear response can diminish over time. Cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) is another effective approach, focusing on changing maladaptive thought patterns and beliefs that contribute to fear. Mindfulness and relaxation techniques can also be beneficial in managing fear. Practices such as meditation, deep breathing, and progressive muscle relaxation can help reduce the physiological arousal associated with fear, making it easier to face feared situations. Fear plays a complex role in our lives. It is a fundamental part of our psychological makeup, shaped by evolution, personal experiences, cognition, and culture. By understanding the mechanisms of fear, we can develop more effective strategies for confronting and overcoming it. This knowledge empowers us to take control of our fears, rather than allowing them to control us, paving the way for a life of greater bravery and fulfillment. The goal is not to eliminate fear entirely, but to learn to live with it in a way that enriches rather than restricts our lives. Embracing this understanding is a vital step on the path to fearless living. Chapter 4. Fear and Your True Self. The relationship between fear and our sense of self is intricate and profound. Fear can shape our identity, influence our choices, and even dictate the trajectory of our lives. However, by understanding and addressing our fears, we have the opportunity to connect more deeply with our authentic selves and live a life that truly reflects our values and aspirations. Fear often acts as a barrier to self-expression and self-actualization. It can deter us from pursuing our passions, expressing our opinions, or taking risks that could lead to personal growth. Fear of failure, rejection, and the unknown can keep us in our comfort zones, where safety and predictability reign supreme. While this may shield us from immediate discomfort, it also prevents us from exploring the full extent of our potential. One of the most significant ways fear influences our true self is through the choices we make. When fear is the driving force behind our decisions, we may choose paths that are less aligned with our genuine interests and more about avoiding perceived threats. This can lead to a life that, on the surface, appears successful or secure, but feels unfulfilling at a deeper level. Moreover, fear can distort our self-perception. It can magnify our doubts and insecurities, leading us to underestimate our abilities and worth. This skewed self-image can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, where we hesitate to pursue opportunities because we don't believe we're capable or deserving of them. To break free from the constraints of fear and embrace our true selves, it's essential to engage in self-reflection and inquiry. This involves examining our fears critically, identifying their origins, and understanding how they've shaped our beliefs and behaviors. Questions such as, "What would I do if I weren't afraid?" can reveal insights into our desires and values that fear has obscured. Another crucial step is to practice self-compassion. Fear often carries with it a sense of shame or inadequacy. By treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, we can create a safe space to explore our fears without judgment. This compassionate approach fosters resilience, making it easier to face and overcome fears. Challenging our fears through action is also vital. By taking small, calculated risks that align with our true interests, we can gradually build confidence in our ability to handle uncertainty and setbacks. Each successful encounter with fear reinforces the belief in our competence and resilience, encouraging us to take on more significant challenges. Furthermore, developing a strong sense of self that is not defined by fear involves cultivating connections with others who support and encourage our authentic selves. Relationships that allow for vulnerability and authenticity can reinforce our sense of worth and belonging, reducing the power of fear over our lives. Mindfulness and presence practices can also help us separate our true selves from our fears. By becoming more aware of our thoughts and feelings in the moment, we can recognize when fear is influencing our reactions and choices. This awareness gives us the power to choose responses that are in line with our authentic selves, rather than being driven by fear. Ultimately, overcoming the influence of fear on our true selves is an ongoing process. It requires patience, perseverance, and courage. However, the rewards of this effort are immeasurable. As we shed the layers of fear that have concealed our true selves, we uncover a life of greater authenticity, fulfillment, and freedom. In exploring the dynamic between fear and our true selves, we uncover the profound impact fear can have on our identity and life choices. By understanding this relationship, we can take deliberate steps toward living in a way that honors our genuine selves, free from the constraints of fear. This chapter has aimed to provide practical insights and strategies to support this transformative process. The essence of who you are is not defined by your fears. Your true self, with all its potential and passion, awaits on the other side of the fears you're willing to face. Embrace the challenge, for it is through confronting our fears that we truly come to know and live as our authentic selves. Chapter 5. Breaking the Cycle of Fear. Fear operates in cycles, creating patterns that can keep us trapped in a state of avoidance and anxiety. These cycles often begin with a trigger, leading to a fear response that we try to mitigate through avoidance or safety behaviors. While these strategies may provide short-term relief, they reinforce the fear in the long run, creating a self-perpetuating cycle. Breaking this cycle is essential for moving beyond fear and living a life that reflects our true desires and capabilities. Understanding the mechanics of the fear cycle is the first step toward interrupting it. The cycle typically starts with a trigger, something that we perceive as threatening. This perception activates the fear response, which can be both physical, e.g., increased heart rate, sweating, and psychological, e.g., thoughts of danger or harm. To cope with this discomfort, we may engage in avoidance behaviors, such as staying away from situations that provoke fear, or safety behaviors, such as seeking reassurance. While these strategies might reduce fear in the moment, they prevent us from learning that the feared outcome is either unlikely or manageable, thus maintaining the cycle. To break the cycle of fear, we must adopt new strategies that address both our reactions to fear and our avoidance behaviors. One effective approach is exposure therapy, which involves gradually and systematically facing the feared situation until the fear response diminishes. This method challenges the fear by providing direct evidence that the feared outcomes are either unlikely or less catastrophic than imagined, helping to dismantle the cycle. Cognitive behavioral techniques are also powerful tools for breaking the cycle of fear. These strategies involve identifying and challenging the distorted thoughts that fuel fear. By examining the evidence for and against these thoughts, we can develop a more balanced perspective. For instance, if the thought, "I will embarrass myself in public," contributes to a fear of social situations, examining past experiences and the actual outcomes can help to counter this belief. Another key element in breaking the cycle of fear is learning to tolerate discomfort. Fear often compels us to escape uncomfortable feelings as quickly as possible. However, developing a tolerance for discomfort allows us to face fears without immediately resorting to avoidance. Techniques such as mindfulness and acceptance and commitment therapy can be particularly helpful in this regard. These approaches encourage us to observe our feelings and thoughts without judgment and to act according to our values, even in the presence of fear. Building resilience is also essential for breaking the cycle of fear. Resilience involves the ability to bounce back from difficulties and to adapt to challenging situations. It can be strengthened through practices that promote well-being, such as regular exercise, maintaining social connections, and engaging in activities that provide a sense of accomplishment and purpose. Seeking support can play a crucial role in overcoming fear. Talking to friends, family, or professionals about our fears can provide new perspectives, encouragement, and strategies for coping. Support groups or therapy can offer a safe space to share experiences and learn from others who are facing similar challenges. Breaking the cycle of fear is not a quick or easy process, but it is possible with persistence and the right strategies. By understanding the nature of the fear cycle and adopting approaches that address both the emotional and behavioral aspects of fear, we can start to dismantle the patterns that keep us stuck. This process not only reduces fear, but also opens up new possibilities for growth and fulfillment. The goal is to equip you with the knowledge and tools you need to confront and overcome your fears. Breaking the cycle of fear is a critical step in this process, laying the foundation for a life that is not defined by avoidance, but by courage, resilience, and the pursuit of your true potential. Remember, each step you take to confront your fears, no matter how small, is a step toward breaking the cycle and reclaiming control over your life. The path ahead may be challenging, but it is also filled with opportunities for growth, learning, and transformation. Chapter 6. Embracing vulnerability. Vulnerability is often perceived as a weakness, especially in cultures that value strength, independence, and self-reliance. However, embracing vulnerability is a powerful step towards overcoming fear and living a more authentic and fulfilling life. Vulnerability involves opening ourselves up to the possibility of experiencing hurt, rejection, or failure. But it also opens the door to genuine connection, creativity, and personal growth. One of the first steps in embracing vulnerability is recognizing its value. Vulnerability allows us to be our true selves, sharing our thoughts, feelings, and desires without fear of judgment. It is the foundation of meaningful relationships, enabling us to connect with others on a deeper level. Vulnerability is also essential for growth. It encourages us to take risks, try new things, and step out of our comfort zones, which is where real growth happens. To embrace vulnerability, it's crucial to develop self-awareness. This involves reflecting on our fears and the defenses we use to avoid feeling vulnerable. Common defenses include perfectionism, cynicism, and emotional numbing. By understanding these patterns, we can start to let them go and allow ourselves to be more open and receptive. Building resilience is another important aspect of embracing vulnerability. Resilience helps us to bounce back from the challenges and setbacks that inevitably come with being vulnerable. It involves cultivating a positive mindset, practicing self-compassion, and seeking support from others. Resilience doesn't mean we won't experience difficulty or pain. Rather, it means we trust in our ability to recover and learn from these experiences. Practicing vulnerability also requires courage. It takes courage to express our true thoughts and feelings, especially when we fear they won't be well received. Starting with small acts of vulnerability can help build this courage. This might include sharing an unpopular opinion, asking for help, or expressing affection. As we practice being vulnerable in small ways, we build the confidence to tackle more significant vulnerabilities. Setting boundaries is an often overlooked but critical aspect of embracing vulnerability. Being vulnerable doesn't mean sharing everything with everyone or putting ourselves in situations where we're likely to be hurt. Instead, it's about choosing when, where, and with whom to be vulnerable. Healthy boundaries help protect our emotional well-being while still allowing us to be open and authentic. Embracing vulnerability involves changing our relationship with fear. Fear of vulnerability stems from the fear of being hurt or rejected. Instead of allowing this fear to dictate our actions, we can acknowledge it and choose to be vulnerable anyway. This doesn't mean the fear goes away, but rather that we're no longer letting it control us. We can recognize that the potential benefits of vulnerability connection, growth, authenticity outweigh the risks. Embracing vulnerability is a journey that requires patience and persistence. It involves unlearning many of the messages we've received about strength and weakness, and it challenges us to step into the unknown. However, the rewards of this journey are immeasurable. By allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, we open ourselves up to a richer, more connected life. Vulnerability is not a one-time decision, but a continuous practice. It's about choosing authenticity over safety, connection over isolation, and growth over stagnation. This chapter has aimed to provide you with the tools and understanding needed to embrace vulnerability as a path to overcoming fear and living more fully. By embracing vulnerability, we not only free ourselves from the constraints of fear, but also invite more love, joy, and connection into our lives. It is through vulnerability that we discover our strength and resilience, and it is through vulnerability that we truly come to know ourselves and others. Chapter 7. The Power of Mindfulness and Acceptance. In the quest to conquer inner fears, the practices of mindfulness and acceptance emerge as powerful tools. These practices teach us to engage with our present experience in a non-judgmental and compassionate way, offering a path through which we can navigate our fears with grace and resilience. This chapter delves into how these principles can transform our relationship with fear, enabling us to live more freely and authentically. Mindfulness, at its essence, is the practice of paying attention to the present moment with an attitude of openness and curiosity. It involves noticing our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without trying to change them. This simple act of observation creates a space between our experiences and our reactions, giving us the choice of how to respond rather than being swept away by automatic responses to fear. The practice of mindfulness can be particularly effective in managing fear because it allows us to see our fears for what they truly are: transient thoughts and feelings. By regularly practicing mindfulness, we learn not to over-identify with our fears or to see them as accurate reflections of reality. Instead, we can observe them as they arise and pass, reducing their intensity and hold over us. Acceptance goes hand in hand with mindfulness. It involves acknowledging our current experience, including our fears, without resistance or denial. This doesn't mean giving up or resigning ourselves to a life limited by fear. Rather, acceptance is about recognizing our fears while also understanding that we have the capacity to move forward in spite of them. It's a powerful stance that shifts our perspective from one of avoidance to one of engagement. Together, mindfulness and acceptance can shift how we relate to fear in several key ways. First, they help us to break the cycle of avoidance that perpetuates fear. By facing our fears with awareness and acceptance, we can learn from them and gradually reduce their impact. This approach is in stark contrast to avoidance strategies, which temporarily relieve fear but ultimately strengthen it. Second, mindfulness and acceptance enhance our emotional flexibility. They teach us to approach our experiences with a sense of curiosity and openness, which can lead to a more adaptive and flexible response to fear. This flexibility is crucial for navigating the complexities of life, where rigid reactions to fear can limit our choices and opportunities. Practicing mindfulness and acceptance can begin with simple exercises. Mindfulness meditation, for example, is a practice where one sits quietly and observes the breath, bringing the attention back whenever it wanders. This practice can be extended to mindful walking, eating, or listening, integrating mindfulness into daily activities. Acceptance exercises might include writing about a fear and reflecting on it with an attitude of openness, or consciously deciding to engage in an activity despite the presence of fear, observing the experience with curiosity. The benefits of mindfulness and acceptance extend beyond managing fear. These practices can enhance overall well-being, reduce stress, and improve emotional regulation. They can deepen our relationships and enable us to engage more fully with life. By cultivating a mindful presence and accepting attitude, we open ourselves to a richer, more nuanced experience of the world. Incorporating mindfulness and acceptance into our lives is a process that requires patience and practice. It's about cultivating a gentle, attentive presence with ourselves moment by moment. Over time, these practices can profoundly transform our relationship with fear, leading to a life characterized not by avoidance, but by openness, resilience, and authenticity. As we continue to explore the power of mindfulness and acceptance, we are invited to consider how these practices can be woven into the fabric of our daily lives. They offer a path to confronting and transcending fear, empowering us to live with a deeper sense of freedom and fulfillment. Remember, the journey toward fearless living is not about eradicating fear altogether, but about learning to navigate it with awareness, compassion, and courage. Mindfulness and acceptance are key companions on this path, illuminating the way forward with clarity and grace. Chapter 8. Building Resilience Against Fear. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. It's what enables us to bounce back from challenges and setbacks without being overwhelmed by fear. Building resilience is not about becoming impervious to fear, but rather developing the strength and flexibility to face it head-on and emerge stronger. This chapter explores practical strategies for enhancing resilience, providing a foundation upon which we can confront and overcome our fears. One of the first steps in building resilience is fostering a growth mindset. This concept, introduced by psychologist Carol Dweck, suggests that our basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. A growth mindset embraces challenges, persists in the face of setbacks, sees effort as the path to mastery, learns from criticism, and finds lessons and inspiration in the success of others. By adopting a growth mindset, we can view fear not as a barrier, but as an opportunity to grow and strengthen our resilience. Another critical aspect of building resilience is nurturing connections. Strong, supportive relationships with friends, family, and community members provide a sense of belonging and an invaluable source of emotional support. These connections can offer encouragement, share coping strategies, and remind us of our strengths when fear threatens to overshadow them. Actively seeking and maintaining supportive relationships is a cornerstone of resilience. Self-care is also essential for resilience. Physical well-being directly impacts our emotional health and our ability to cope with stress and fear. Regular physical activity, adequate sleep, healthy eating habits, and mindfulness practices can all enhance resilience by keeping our bodies and minds in optimal condition. By prioritizing self-care, we ensure that we have the energy and strength needed to face challenges. Developing problem-solving skills is another way to build resilience against fear. When we believe we can find solutions to the challenges we face, we're less likely to feel overwhelmed by fear. This involves identifying the problem, brainstorming potential solutions, evaluating the pros and cons of each, and taking action. Practicing these steps in everyday situations can prepare us to apply them when faced with more significant fears. Emotional regulation is crucial for managing the intense feelings that fear can evoke. Techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, and progressive muscle relaxation can help calm the physiological arousal associated with fear. Additionally, learning to identify, understand, and express our emotions in healthy ways allows us to navigate fear without being controlled by it. Cultivating a sense of purpose and meaning can fortify resilience. When we have clear goals and values that guide our actions, we're more likely to persevere through fear and adversity. This sense of purpose can come from various sources, including personal passions, professional ambitions, or the desire to contribute to the well-being of others. By aligning our actions with our values, we can draw strength from a deeper sense of meaning. Building resilience against fear is an ongoing process that requires intention, effort, and practice. It's about cultivating attitudes and behaviors that empower us to face fear with confidence and grace. While the path may not always be easy, the rewards increased strength, flexibility, and the courage to pursue our true potential are immeasurable. Let us remember that resilience is not a trait that we either have or don't have, but a set of skills that we can develop and strengthen over time. With each challenge we face and overcome, our resilience grows, enabling us to navigate life's uncertainties with greater ease and assurance. In embracing these strategies, we equip ourselves with the tools needed to confront fear, not as an insurmountable obstacle, but as an opportunity for growth and transformation. This chapter aims to inspire and guide you in building resilience, laying the groundwork for a life marked by courage, strength, and the freedom to pursue your aspirations without being held back by fear. Chapter 9. Fear in Relationships. Fear plays a significant role in how we form, maintain, and sometimes end relationships. It can shape our interactions with others, influencing our ability to connect deeply and authentically. Understanding the dynamics of fear in relationships is crucial for anyone looking to build healthier, more fulfilling connections. This chapter explores the different ways fear manifests in relationships and offers strategies for addressing and overcoming these fears. One common fear in relationships is the fear of vulnerability. Opening up to someone involves risk, the risk of being hurt, misunderstood, or rejected. Yet, vulnerability is also the key to intimacy and connection. To overcome the fear of vulnerability, it's essential to start small. Share something personal, but not overwhelming, and gauge the reaction. Positive experiences of being vulnerable with someone who is respectful and understanding can gradually increase your comfort level. Another prevalent fear is the fear of rejection. This fear can prevent us from expressing our true feelings or asking for what we need in a relationship. It can lead to patterns of people-pleasing or staying in unsatisfactory relationships to avoid being alone. To combat this fear, it's important to build self-esteem and self-worth independent of any relationship. Recognizing your value outside of how others perceive you makes the fear of rejection less daunting. The fear of abandonment is deeply rooted in many people, often stemming from past experiences. This fear can trigger clingy or needy behavior, or conversely, lead someone to push others away to avoid the potential pain of being left. Addressing this fear requires self-reflection and often professional support to heal from past wounds. Practicing self-soothing techniques and reminding yourself of your resilience can also help mitigate this fear. Conflict avoidance is another way fear manifests in relationships. Many fear conflict, believing it signifies a problem in the relationship. However, conflict, when approached healthily, is an opportunity for growth and understanding. Learning effective communication skills, such as active listening and expressing your needs calmly and clearly, can reduce the fear around conflict. It's also helpful to reframe conflict as a normal, manageable part of any close relationship. Fear can also impact our trust in others. Past betrayals or disappointments can make it challenging to trust again, leading to suspicion or control behaviors in relationships. Rebuilding trust starts with trusting yourself, your judgment, your resilience, and your ability to handle whatever comes. From there, extending trust to others can be done gradually, based on their actions and reliability. Lastly, the fear of losing oneself in a relationship is common, especially for those who value their independence highly. Maintaining a healthy sense of self in a relationship requires setting boundaries, pursuing personal interests, and ensuring time apart. It's about finding the balance between being a part of a couple and being an individual. Overcoming fear in relationships is not about eliminating fear entirely, but learning to manage it in a way that promotes healthy, supportive connections. This involves open communication, mutual respect, and a commitment to personal growth. By acknowledging and addressing the fears that arise in our relationships, we can create a foundation of trust, intimacy, and mutual support. As we navigate the complexities of fear in relationships, remember that it's a journey of learning and growth. Each step taken to confront and understand our fears brings us closer to the kind of relationships we aspire to have, ones marked by depth, understanding, and genuine connection. In embracing the strategies discussed in this chapter, you are equipped to face and navigate the fears that arise in your relationships. This journey towards healthier connections is a testament to your resilience and commitment to living a life filled with meaningful relationships. Chapter 10. Courageous Actions. Moving Beyond Fear. Taking courageous actions in the face of fear is a pivotal aspect of personal growth and overcoming limitations. Courage does not imply the absence of fear, but rather the decision to act despite it. This chapter delves into practical strategies for taking bold steps forward, emphasizing that courage can be cultivated and expressed in everyday life. The first step in moving beyond fear through courageous actions is to define what courage looks like for you. It can vary greatly from one person to another. For some, it might mean speaking up in a meeting, while for others, it could involve changing careers or ending a toxic relationship. Identifying specific actions that feel challenging yet achievable is essential in this process. Setting small, attainable goals is a practical way to start. Breaking down a larger, more intimidating action into smaller steps can make the process seem less daunting. Each small victory builds confidence and momentum, making the next step easier to tackle. Preparation is key to overcoming fear. Understanding what you're facing and devising a plan can significantly reduce anxiety. For example, if public speaking is a source of fear, practicing your speech multiple times before the actual event can boost your confidence. Similarly, if you're afraid of failing at a new endeavor, researching and planning can mitigate the fear of the unknown. Another effective strategy is to use visualization techniques. Visualizing yourself successfully performing the feared action can enhance your sense of control and readiness. This mental rehearsal primes your brain to handle the actual situation more confidently. Building a support system is also crucial. Surrounding yourself with encouraging friends, family members, or mentors who believe in you can provide a sense of security and motivation. Sharing your goals and fears with them can also offer new perspectives and solutions you might not have considered. Embracing failure as part of the learning process is essential for taking courageous actions. Fear of failure often holds us back, but recognizing that failure is not a reflection of your worth, but rather an opportunity to learn and grow is liberating. It encourages a mindset that is open to taking risks and learning from setbacks. Practicing self-compassion throughout this process is vital. Being kind to yourself, especially when things don't go as planned, helps maintain your self-esteem and motivation. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend in a similar situation. Reflecting on past successes can also fuel your courage. Remembering times when you faced your fears and succeeded can remind you of your strength and resilience, providing a confidence boost when facing new challenges. Finally, committing to continuous growth and facing fears regularly can transform courage from an occasional act into a way of life. Courageous living involves consistently stepping out of your comfort zone and embracing life's uncertainties with an open heart and mind. Taking courageous actions requires intentional effort, patience, and perseverance. It's about making a conscious choice to face your fears, one step at a time, and embracing the growth that comes from each experience. By applying these strategies, you can move beyond fear and towards a life marked by bravery, fulfillment, and authentic self-expression. As you incorporate courageous actions into your daily life, remember that every act of courage, no matter how small, contributes to a stronger and more resilient you. This chapter aims to inspire and guide you towards embracing courage as a fundamental part of your journey towards overcoming fear. Chapter 11. Maintaining momentum in fearless living. Maintaining momentum in fearless living is about fostering a sustainable approach to overcoming fears and pursuing a life that resonates with your authentic self. After taking initial steps to confront and manage fear, the challenge often lies in continuing this progress and integrating these practices into daily life. This chapter explores strategies to keep the momentum going, ensuring that fearless living becomes a lasting part of your journey. Creating a routine that incorporates fearless living practices is crucial. Consistency is key to embedding new habits and mindsets. Whether it's daily mindfulness exercises, weekly reflections on progress and setbacks, or regular check-ins with a support network, establishing a routine helps to reinforce the principles of fearless living. It turns what may have started as conscious efforts into integral parts of your life. Setting ongoing goals is another important strategy. As you achieve your initial goals, setting new ones provides continuous direction and purpose. These goals should challenge you, pushing you slightly out of your comfort zone, while still being achievable. They serve as markers of progress and sources of motivation, propelling you forward on your path. Journaling can be a powerful tool for maintaining momentum. It offers a space to reflect on your experiences, celebrate victories, and process challenges. By keeping a record of your journey, you can observe patterns in your fears and behaviors, gain insights into what strategies are working, and remind yourself of how far you've come. This reflection can be incredibly motivating, especially during times when progress feels slow. Cultivating a growth mindset is essential for sustained fearless living. Embracing challenges as opportunities for learning and growth, rather than threats to be avoided, can transform your approach to fear. This mindset encourages resilience, adaptability, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. It allows you to view setbacks not as failures, but as integral parts of the learning process. Engaging in continuous learning and development also contributes to maintaining momentum. This can include reading books, attending workshops, or seeking new experiences that challenge you. Each of these activities can provide fresh perspectives and strategies for managing fear, ensuring that your approach to fearless living continues to evolve. Staying connected with your support network is vital. Sharing your experiences, challenges, and successes with trusted friends, family, or mentors can provide encouragement, advice, and accountability. These connections remind you that you're not alone in your journey and provide a safety net when facing new fears. Celebrating your successes, no matter how small, is key to sustaining motivation. Recognizing and rewarding yourself for the steps you've taken to confront your fears reinforces positive behavior and boosts your confidence. These celebrations can be simple, such as taking time for yourself, enjoying a favorite activity, or sharing your accomplishments with others. Your approach to fearless living may need to adapt as your life changes. Being open to modifying your strategies, goals, and routines ensures that your commitment to fearless living remains relevant and effective. Maintaining momentum in fearless living is not a linear process. It involves ups and downs, successes, and setbacks. However, by implementing these strategies, you can build resilience, adaptability, and a sustained commitment to living a life that reflects your true self. Fearless living is a lifelong journey. It's about continuously pushing the boundaries of your comfort zone, learning from your experiences, and growing into your potential. By maintaining momentum, you ensure that this journey is not just a phase, but a permanent shift towards a more fulfilling and authentic life. Chapter 12. Beyond Fear. Envisioning Your Life. As we reach the culmination of our exploration into fearless living, it's time to turn our gaze forward, envisioning a life expanded beyond the confines of fear. This vision is not a distant dream, but a tangible future that begins with understanding the transformative power of moving through fear towards a life of authenticity, purpose, and joy. This chapter is dedicated to helping you envision and create a future that reflects your truest self, unbounded by fear. The first step in envisioning your life beyond fear is to clarify your values and what is genuinely important to you. Identifying your core values serves as a compass, guiding your decisions and actions towards a life that is in harmony with those values. Whether it's creativity, family, service, adventure, or personal growth, knowing what matters most provides a clear direction for your journey ahead. Setting a vision for your life involves imagining the possibilities that open up when fear no longer holds you back. It's about allowing yourself to dream big and then taking those dreams seriously. Consider what you would do if failure were not a concern, and what kind of life you would create if there were no limits. This exercise isn't just about fantasizing. It's a powerful tool for breaking out of fear-imposed boundaries and recognizing the potential that lies within you. Creating a tangible plan is the bridge between envisioning your life and living it. This plan should include specific, actionable steps that move you towards your vision. Break down your larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks and set realistic timelines for achieving them. Remember, the focus is on progress, not perfection. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory in the journey beyond fear. Embracing a mindset of resilience and adaptability is crucial as you move towards your envisioned future. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable, but they do not define your path. Your response to them does. Cultivate an attitude that views obstacles as opportunities for growth and learning. This mindset ensures that you remain steadfast in pursuit of your vision, even when the road becomes difficult. Maintaining a practice of mindfulness and reflection can greatly enhance your journey beyond fear. Regularly check in with yourself to assess your progress, celebrate your achievements, and recalibrate your actions as needed. This reflective practice keeps you aligned with your vision and values, ensuring that your actions continue to move you in the right direction. Finally, remember the importance of community and support. Share your vision with trusted friends, family, or mentors who can offer encouragement, advice, and accountability. Building a supportive network not only strengthens your resolve, but also enriches the journey with shared experiences and collective wisdom. Envisioning your life beyond fear is an act of courage in itself. It's a declaration that you are not defined by your fears, but by your aspirations, strengths, and the choices you make in the face of those fears. As you move forward, let this vision be your guiding light, illuminating the path towards a life filled with purpose, joy, and authenticity. As we conclude, it's clear that the journey beyond fear is not a destination, but a continuous process of growth, discovery, and transformation. By embracing the strategies discussed throughout this book, you are well equipped to navigate this journey with confidence, resilience, and an open heart. Remember, fearless living is not about the absence of fear, but about living in alignment with your deepest values and aspirations, regardless of the fears that arise. As you continue to envision and create a life beyond fear, know that you possess all the strength, wisdom, and courage you need to make your vision a reality.